Hi everyone. So I'll be doing a proper impromptu kind of a review today for Border 2. There won't be any edits, nothing. So you'll see me continuously speaking, and you'll think that okay, this is not a very nice way of doing videos, maybe. But I just wanted to speak. I can't write a script because I have, I have such a terrible headache after watching the film, and that sort of showcases the fact of how I feel about the film. But as a reviewer, my first things are, and this is one thing that I always think about as a reviewer, is when you're actually making reviews, there are certain films that we watch so that you don't need to watch it. This is one such kind of a film that I felt. Honestly, I was a fan of Border when it released. I'm still a fan in general. The emotional scenes, the sequences, the war scenes, how it's sort of designed, the storytelling was absolutely fabulous, and I sort of related to it very, very quickly. Unfortunately, here a lot of these pieces are missing. They tried to introduce a lot of these pieces in general, the emotional pieces, but none of them never fit into the puzzle very nicely. The dialogues are extremely corny, doesn't relate to today's time. It's very dated in general. Um, when Sunny Deol appears, and by the way, minor spoilers ahead, so in case if you haven't watched the film, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people haven't, it's just started. It has just released today, so a lot of people might not have watched it, but there's going to be spoilers, so please do not mind. But when Sunny Deol appears on the screen, he's been shown as the son of Dharmendra. But when the other major characters appear on the scene, they are not given any sort of such kind of an introduction. So I didn't understand. Obviously, Sunny Deol is the main scene stealer in this particular film itself. So we can all understand that he would be given prominence, but I just felt that everyone should be introduced as well properly. It's okay. Then a lot of these things like there's a reverse sequence where both these parties just start talking to each other, India, Pakistan. Like ideally in a war zone situation, you are actually going to hit bullets and like fight, and then they are talking, and the Pakistani army person is saluting the Indian army person. Like it is it is sort of designed in a way so that you they're they're trying to highlight the importance of Indian army, which is absolutely okay, but like just be little bit based on reality. It doesn't happen in the true life. And considering today when you have movies like Dhurandhar being made, which are absolutely based on true stories, and it's shot authentically and people actually resonated with it so nicely, you should actually keep that intrinsic truthfulness going when you're actually making a movie. I just felt it was very shoddy kind of filmmaking. They didn't want to invest a lot of time in the script, a lot of effort into the screenplay as well. Diljit Dosanjh and Ahan Shetty, who by the way is a terrible, terrible actor, unfortunately doesn't get a lot of scope. I don't know, fortunately, unfortunately. I think Diljit Dosanjh was the best thing in terms of the acting perspective in this particular film. He was trying to crack jokes, and that was sort of keeping the mood light. But honestly, they had sort of an extended cameo in this particular film. They didn't have a proper full scape role. The major role is obviously given to both Varun Dhawan and Sunny Deol. The major issue of this film is the length, the running time. It's almost 3 hours, 20 minutes running time of the film, and unfortunately, it feels it's stretched. The last 30 minutes is something where I started to have a headache, as I've already mentioned, and it doesn't end. The film is not ending. It's just keep on stretching. The war sequences are keeping on stretching. It could have ended at least 40 minutes earlier. I think then the movie would have been made a little bit of more sense, and it would have been a decent enough watch. But I just felt they tried to stretch it as much as possible. Very cheesy, very corny dialogues, doesn't work in today's time. Ahan Shetty, my God, it's he's so poor in terms of acting. like I don't know what to say about him. There is a funny line again, a spoiler ahead. So absolutely at the end, if you do remember the actual border when Sunil Shetty was dying at the end, he suddenly revives and he does Shakti Ma Shakti. Ahan Shetty also does that Shakti Ma Shakti, and suddenly he does that. So they tried to bring those elements in so that like father like son, they want to do those things just to give a nostalgic feeling to the movie, but it doesn't work, and specifically not for Ahan. The thing is, we actually connected with Sunil Shetty's character a lot in Border. We didn't connect with Ahan Shetty's character at all because he just had very, very minimal scope, along with the fact that he's not a great actor in general. So it didn't work for me at all. Um, um, yeah, there are a lot of idiotic repetitions here and there. It just didn't feel nice. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the pointers and I'm just speaking um, uh, as we go move forward. Um, in the training zone, when actually the boys were training, Varun Dhawan, Ahan Shetty, and Diljit are basically like same batchmates of the Indian National Army cadets. um, Suddenly Sunny Deol shouted that आवाज में जोर क्यों नहीं है, आवाज इतना भारी और जोर से बोलो, that आवाज जानी चाहिए कहाँ तक, लाहौर तक. Now the thing is, it can be good when you're actually fighting the army of Pakistan, but in a training situation when you're cadets at this point of time, you will be fighting multiple other countries. You can fight other countries as well. So why are you specifically pointing towards Lahore? So it just felt a little bit of more propaganda in general, that it was targeted towards Pakistan in general, which again, it's not a problem, but just make it a more realistic, into a more realistic zone so that we can connect much more better. The VFX, my God, again, poor. I just don't understand why people can't invest a little bit of more money to do a little bit either good VFX or just keep it very real scenario. Like it's being produced by T series, so there's an abundance of money out here. You can spend a lot of money, but I just don't understand why they didn't do so. Aditya Dhar, who had so less money, created such an amazing realistic zone in Dhurandhar. And sorry, I keep on bringing Dhurandhar up, but it is sort of a benchmark right now when it comes to creating action sequences in general, realistic action sequences, which unfortunately none of this big budgeted high movies can do going forward. Um, and honestly speaking, after watching this film, I just felt Ikkis is almost like an Oscar-nominated film. It's uh, that worse as a film. And then Varun Dhawan, also very cheesy, corny dialogues in terms of Varun Dhawan is mentioning that I'm very lucky to the girl that she married. He didn't see that girl, but he started saying that I'm very lucky to get you married. Suddenly, as he saw her. So the thing is, you are just looking at her beauty and appearance, and you are thinking that you're lucky. How do you know you might not be lucky as well? She might not be a great wife. So beauty and appearance is also given a lot of factor here, which I didn't like in general. Again, this is a very personal perspective. A lot of people might like it. I did not like it. Diljit is a terrific pilot, but there is no pilot training sequences that are being shown. I just don't know. It didn't fall at peace. He was just cracking jokes during his cadet sessions. He didn't go for any training sessions at all, and suddenly he became a terrific pilot altogether. Obviously, this movie, you don't need to show a lot of realistic things, but it just didn't add up a lot of these things in general. Then, midway through the movie, Sunny Deol and the army in general in Pakistan are continuously having talks over phone in the war zone. Like, तू क्या करेगा, मैं तुझे मारूंगा, मैंने तेरे बेटे को मारा है, ये किया है, वो किया. And they're speaking and speaking. Like, dude, by that time you can actually kill 10 more people. Like, why are you keeping on speaking? So I just didn't understand it. Um, yeah, in general. So this is in general. Like, I don't have anything much to say about this particular film. It's according to me, it's a very, very average fare. It might be a little bit better than Gadar. As I mentioned, it could have been a little more shorter. If it would have been shorter, it would have been a little bit more watchable. But at the end of it all, I was seeing people leaving from their chairs and just leaving the theater. They are not staying back. The excessive length time is a huge, huge problem for this film. It doesn't grab your attention at pieces. and it's just a cash cow that they wanted to film this. They wanted to make this film on the basis of the reputation Border has. And honestly, I just don't understand the concept of this continuous part twos, part threes until unless you do have a story to tell. If it's a continuation of a great story, then obviously it makes sense. But it's a completely different story altogether. It doesn't make sense. And just to end my review on a note that a funny thing happened. As I was mentioning, that Border 1 and Border 2 are not like the same film. It's a completely different film and completely different narrative and storyline altogether. But suddenly at the end, Sunny Deol starts seeing all the people who has died in this war in Border 2, which is obviously understandable. But suddenly, Akshay Khanna, Sunil Shetty, Puneet Isar, and the person who played the person who had wanted to go, I don't remember the person in Border 1 who died. They all appeared as like souls appearing. Like there's no connect of Border 1 and Border 2 here. Why are they coming on the screen? So it's a very clear indication that they wanted to cash this particular franchise of Border, and they wanted to show things that Border worked. But you have to have the heart and soul to make that kind of film, and you have to have the soul of Border in general, which honestly didn't work here. So yeah, just just nothing much to say. I think I've spoken a lot about this film, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So in general, a very average fare. And but if you have watched the film, or if you are planning to watch the film, do let me know what are your thoughts about the film, whether you agree with me or not. And if you have liked this review, which again is a very impromptu review, there is no cuts, there are no edits that are going to go, so you can see obviously me fumbling a little bit, so apologies on that, but I just wanted to keep it much more real at this point of time. So if you have liked this particular review, go ahead, like the channel, share and subscribe to the channel as well. It'll help the channel to grow. Thank you so much.